This is Salam Media, keeping you company this Ramadan.
Let's talk about Sentio or Sentio Capital. So Sentio's invest for good philosophy is based on a genuine desire to use their investment skills for the benefit of broader society while also delivering superior returns for clients. Now that's regardless of market conditions. So visit their website, which is sentiocapital.com, for more information on their Sharia investment products. Sentio Capital, invest for good. Sentio Capital Management is an authorized financial services provider. Right, so let's talk about this feature that we do every day called My First Ramadan, where we speak to someone, and it could be this year, it could have been even 30 years ago. They reflect on what was it like to observe and to be a part of the very first Ramadan. So my guest today is from the United Kingdom, and that's Harry Round. Harry, appreciate your time. Good morning and assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you. So you've heard that the intro. We talk about my first Ramadan. What was your first Ramadan like?
So my first Ramadan was Ramadan. It was a couple years ago. So I'm doing my third one at the moment. So it was just a couple years ago, and in the build up to it, I'd been practicing and invested in Islam for a couple years. It was quite tense. I was quite nervous. I feel like a lot of people make a lot of hype about how scary that not drinking water all day is. So I went into it fairly nervous, not knowing quite how it was going to be like, how difficult it was going to be. But alhamdulillah, it was not too difficult. It was amazing. I feel like I could have never imagined the kind of peace that practicing fasting would be able to give me throughout my day. And
well, that's so beautiful the way you've expressed it. I mean, to tell us more about the sense of peace that developed from you fasting.
So I feel like maybe I've and many people in Britain, and I'm sure you probably feel the same. Maybe in South Africa, a lot of people, it's easy to live lives where you're constantly food and water can be, easily accessible and you just go and grab it straight away. Not having that there and having to practice kind of discipline, I think helps with perspective. I think it helps with gratitude. In Islam, so much of our religion is about gratitude. And as a result, I think it made me more grateful for not just the food and water and the roof over my head, but for my family, people in my life, loved ones, and for the fact that I was, blessed enough to find Islam at an early age.
And I suppose it makes you more aware of who you are and your place in society and your place with the Creator and how that triangle sort of impacts one on the other, right? You also made the point about, Ramadan and fasting, but you and I both know that, somehow there's a huge focus on fasting because that really is maybe the central pillar of Ramadan. But the reality is it's also beyond just fasting, right? What else was your experience like on that very first Ramadan?
Well, I guess another experience was that I went to Taraweeh prayer for the first time that Ramadan, and that was something that certainly was something that I didn't even fully understand. I knew that in Islam, the whole Quran was read across Taraweeh prayer during Ramadan, but I didn't anticipate quite how long the prayers were going to be. So I remember my legs were a little bit sore afterwards for standing so long. But do you know what? It was amazing afterwards when you do Taraweeh. Everybody is there chatting, discussing Islam, and I've been very lucky that the masjids that I've been able to attend in and around my area have been full of extremely friendly people and people willing to bless me with a lot of Islamic knowledge and advice. So honestly, it was an amazing time, like community wise as well.
I mean, did you get like spotted as being this new guy to Islam, or is it rather anonymous? And which would you prefer?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think it would be anonymous. No, I think that being like ethnically British, you do stand out in the masjid quite a lot, and I think it's probably a blessing in a way because people, are less likely probably to come up with somebody who looks like a born Muslim to give dawah. And as a result, I feel like I've had a lot of very amazing interactions in my journey in Islam. I've been able to discuss with, very highly Islamically educated people on a lot of different things. So as a result, I think it's definitely been a blessing.
Okay. I mean, the obvious thing then is, you made the point about you have been very fortunate to, embrace the Islamic faith at a relatively young age. What are you, 22, 23 now, right? Yeah, you're right. Some people discover Islam when they're 40 and 50 and even much older, right? What then happened to you? I mean, how did you become exposed to Islam, and what was your reaction?
So I'm from an area that, whilst it does have a higher Muslim population now, it certainly didn't around 5 or 6 years ago. But when I came off to university, I started questioning things maybe about the lifestyle choices that I was living, the partying culture at university. I think I started to dawn on me that it might not be what's best for me and for everybody. I could see a lot of people, quite unhappy around me. And I met Muslim people at university, and I think that became me more exposed. One of the most memorable things I have that probably brought me close to Islam was I was discussing with a Muslim friend of mine about, I said to him, why is it that Muslim people, they all seem so chilled out and relaxed compared to, people in the West? Like, what is it? People are running around over here. The people are very worried. They have, bad anxiety at university. What's your secret? And he said, in Islam, I don't have to pay for a therapy session. I have my therapy session booked in with Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, 5 times a day. I don't need to go to group therapy. I have Jummah booked in every single Friday. And I have a ummah, I have a community of brothers who will help me on any issue whenever I want, because that's how our religion works. And I just kind of didn't believe him originally, that there was really, a group of people who would really act like that and behave like that and be that supportive. But the reality is, obviously it was true. And that was definitely a significant moment of exposure that I remember.
And that drew you to Islam. But I mean, it doesn't also happen like a switch where you listen to your mate talking about it, and the next day or the same day you're a Muslim. I mean, there's a journey you undertake. I mean, from that period to the time where you said, okay, you know what, this is for me, right? How long did that take, and then what happened then?
Yeah, so I'd say the whole process with me having some of these realizations to taking Shahada was probably around 9 months. And within that period, I stopped drinking alcohol. That was the first thing that I did. I stopped drinking alcohol and started to, question things a little bit. Then I met kind of Muslim people and asked questions of Islam. Then I kind of read more about Islam, the stories of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And following on from that, I started incorporating Salat into my life before taking Shahada, right? Originally, because I thought that all of these aspects of Islam would be beneficial to my life. Like, I wasn't interested in becoming a Muslim, but I was interested in these different aspects. I kind of thought how relaxed and chilled and calm and happy people in the East seems to be. And I thought, okay, well, I can cherry pick these aspects of their lifestyle. And if I live like that, then I'm going to get ahead. I was doing a law degree at the time. I was thinking, I'm going to get ahead. This is going to make me successful. But the more I kind of practiced it, the more my soul felt at ease, the more relaxed I felt, the happier I felt, the better I was performing at work and in sports. I feel like, my relationships with my friends were really good. And it got to the point, I think my life got so good and my happiness levels improved so much. It started to give me genuine divine conviction in the existence of God. And the fact that I'd had that realization through Islam made me think, well, I have to take Shahada. This is something that I clearly have to do.
Yeah, well, that's fascinating. Just sharing that with us. I mean, so go back to your conversation with your friend at the university. Now, I mean, whatever, 2-3 years down the line, do you find that you are having those 5-minute therapy sessions 5 times a day and one group session once a week? Is that happening for you, and can you relate to it?
Yeah, Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting because I guess probably now, at the point I'm at now, I feel really relaxed and happy in my life. I guess I don't feel it as like a therapy session. It's just so routine. But if I am down and I am struggling, when I come in and I do one of my prayers, say it's Asr, and I go in. When I pray, I feel so much better afterwards. I feel like I have a lot more perspective afterwards, and I often find that my decision making is a lot better as well.
Well, there you are. Now, interesting, and I'll end with this. I often talk about the Hajj pilgrimage, and I say, in sporting terms, the Hajj is the World Cup of the believer, right?
Mhm.
You've been for the mini Hajj, right? What was that? What was the Umrah like?
Umrah was very special, very, very, very special. I seeing the Kaaba in real life, that point that we all the Qibla, the point that we all prayed to, it made me realize truly how special the religion is. The fact that there's billions of people praying towards the exact same point. Seeing that point in real life was amazing. Being in Mecca was amazing. I was quite emotional, I think, to get from where I was, knowing nothing about Islam to being in Mecca, being in Al Haram, wearing the ihram, and performing Umrah. Yeah, it was amazing, and inshallah, I have the opportunity to perform Hajj as well.
Well, then you will have that World Cup of the believer, inshallah. May that happen very, very soon indeed. Harry Round, it's been fascinating talking to you, and I wish you well for the remainder of this Ramadan, and more importantly, for the remainder of your life, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You also.
Thank you. Fascinating indeed, isn't it? I'd certainly love this feature, My First Ramadan. Who else should we be talking to in this feature called My First Ramadan? By the way, you can WhatsApp me 061 766 0355. And you can also comment on Salam Media's platforms, wherever you see this feed coming through. If it's on YouTube, do subscribe to Salam Media on YouTube, but you can comment at the bottom of that. But also Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want to go, we are there. But also you can also comment. You can find me on all those platforms. Talking about platforms, the Imam of the masjid in at Waterloo Road in Cape Town in the suburb of Kenwyn, well, he's got a platform, and that platform is under threat because apparently he's been dismissed. We've been following that story with two takes on it over the last 2 days. We're going to get his thoughts right after this.